You attacked a 19-year-old child.
I didn't touch him.
You went for him, apparently the father says. You attacked him first. And then the father came to help, and then you kicked the father 15 times.
I didn't know that too.
15 times you broke the father.
Is he alive?
He's alive, yeah. The son also, you broke him.
Is he alive?
He's alive.
The mother's deceased.
Mother's dead. I mean, you killed an innocent person.
My brother.
And now you want to blame it on something else.
She's not totally innocent.
Huh?
She's not totally innocent.
Why?
Regardless of whatever it is,
What she did?
what she did. You can't compare words and actions, eh?
She hates my family, my friends.
So that's words.
No, your family.
How you can compare words and actions, bro? Come on, bro.
I know, it's
You
unjust.
grown, bro.
You're right, I'm wrong.
You a big man. How you can?
I don't know
If,
what
if she come, if she,
Please, guys, it's not a child. But
No.
we're just trying to find out.
What I'm saying is,
she and her family thought that it was entertaining that my cousins were killed in Israel.
your cousin in Israel.
Yeah, she thought that was funny.
So that's why you killed her. Because she thought that the Jews. So you're a Jew then?
Not my identity, but I have family there. I've rejected the religion completely.
You're a Zionist.
No, not anymore.
You was a Zionist. So you, after killing her, you decided to leave Zionism.
I'm leaving everything. I don't give a fuck about all of this anymore.
But you hate them with a passion. That's why you killed an innocent woman.
I had one night where I had one problem. That's what I'm saying.
In one night you had a problem with a Muslim woman and you killed her. That's how you believe. That's what you believe.
I'm sick in the head. I'm fucking touched.
You're not sick in nothing, but the way you speak to me, you're not sick nowhere.
Yeah, there was a horrific audio and visuals to see. So the man that you're seeing there in that video is well, we don't have his name yet, but this is a man that was arrested and has confessed to the murder of a Glenmore woman, Halima Firoza Hussein, who was stabbed to death in the early hours of yesterday morning in Durban. The killer, the gentleman that you saw there in the video, gained entry into a home and stabbed two of her relatives, husband and son, who are in critical condition in hospital. And the motive behind this, as you heard there, there's an element of the Israeli genocide that's currently ongoing in Gaza, an Israeli perpetuated genocide that's ongoing in Gaza. Pretty disturbing. And just a quick disclaimer: this story that we're covering now is not for sensitive listeners and viewers. And I will be joined right now by Alie Komape, who's going to be giving us the perspective of their organization, Africa4Palestine, on this. Alie, welcome to Salam Media. Really devastating stuff, man. Just listening to that and hearing this gentleman speak, it's scary.
Hello to your listeners and viewers, and thank you for having us. This is devastating. It's horrific. It's heinous. We are lost for words. It's a very senseless incident. Unfortunately, there's loss of life. It's a regrettable, and unfortunate situation in our opinion.
And as Africa4Palestine, I'm sure you've seen different interactions between those that are supporting Palestine and those that are pro-Israel supporters in the ongoing genocide. As you go out in the different marches and different demonstrations, are these engagements violent in nature, or people just might engage in words and just say stuff to each other without actually engaging in physical violence? What are the patterns that you have seen as an advocacy group that's very vocal when it comes to the rights of the Palestinian people and also the condemnation of the ongoing genocide in Gaza?
Look, since October 7th, there have been several protests in South Africa. I think it's safe to assume that over 100 protest actions have taken place across different parts of our country. In those demonstrations, be it a picket, be it a protest, be it a sit-in, there have been encounters of violent interactions by Israeli supporters. I was at one protest, I think, in Sandton at the consulate of the United States, and I think 3 or 4 Zionists who claim to be or to have been part of the Israeli Defense Force occupation power. And in that protest, they provoked protesters and it turned into a violent altercation. So these have been documented very well in Cape Town. A number of incidences have taken place in Cape Town where Zionists have confronted demonstrators, peaceful demonstrators, by the way, and turned violent. There are videos of it on social media. These incidences have occurred in Durban as well. So across the country, we've seen violence altercations started, instigated by agent provocateurs of the Israeli sympathizer regime. We know that this makes sense. You simply cannot support a regime that practice obscene violence and not try to replicate that actions when you disagree with a certain group. So this is not an isolated incident. Unfortunately, it's not. I mean, if it globally we are seeing Palestinian supporters being attacked and others unfortunately losing their lives. We've seen this in Europe, we've seen this in the United States. So it's not an isolated incident. In their nature, they are aggressive. In their nature, they are violent. But simply because of the regime they support, a violent genocidal regime. So it's not surprising. But unfortunately, it's not isolated as well.
And I know this is a very difficult question to answer. But what advice would Africa for Palestine give, to pro-Palestine, activists who might go out on a protest, might have a insignia of Palestine outside their homes, to go about responding to these provocations that ultimately these supporters of Israel want them to lead to violence? What's the best way to deal with someone like that? You just have a Palestine flag out of your home, or you have a Palestine flag on your car, or you're out at a protest and then they just come out at you and start attacking you, hope that it leads to violence, and they get the opportunity to hurt you.
Um, I, I think many who are active in the Palestine solidarity movement would know this. We've been called racial slurs. We've been insulted in shopping centers, in malls. We've been threatened with violence and weapons at protests and demonstrations. So it happens time and again. I think in 2014, if not 15, there was a Zionist who wielded a gun in a protest in Johannesburg at us. So there's always threats of violence. I think that's like a default setting for Zionists. They think violence is the answer to everything. Our advice to South Africans who are actively involved in the Palestine solidarity campaigns is don't be fearful. I think one thing we will never do is to cave into the violence and the threat of violence. What these pathetic attempts, these desperate attempts do, is to try to silence pro-Palestinian voices in our country, is to try and muddy the waters of our peaceful and objective campaigns for Palestine. And lastly, is to try to overshadow our campaigns with the violence. And we will not cave in. We will not cower in silence when we are confronted with Zionists. We are not saying that we are equally violent, but we are saying we're not going to cave in. Unfortunately, the death of a beloved mother and a wife, a sister, this is not something that will deter us. This gives us more confidence and motivation to continue our campaign for a free Palestine. This particular incident shows that our work, collectively activist work, it reaches to people, and this is what we want. We want Zionists in this country to be uncomfortable. We want them to know they're not welcomed in our country. We want them to know, if they are citizens of this country, that what they're doing is foreign to our ethos and values as a society. So we will not be deterred by violence. Whenever I think our activists and our campaigners are confronted with the possibility or the threats of violence, they must not cave in. They must stand tall against the violence. I think we are inspired by Palestinians who resist the occupation. They've been resisting the Israeli military occupation for over 7 decades. When that incident presents itself, or when one is confronted by an incident of violence from a Zionist sympathizer, a Zionist supporter, we stand our ground. We will not cave in and will not be deterred.
All right. Thank you so much, Ali. I think that's where we're going to leave it. And I'm pretty sure Africa4Palestine will definitely be following that case and to make sure that that family does get justice.
Thank you very much.
There you have it there, Alie Komape from Africa4Palestine. Well, they came out to condemn that horrific attack on the South African family by this Israeli sympathizer, who saw it to, put upon himself to act like those that he supports in Israel, to take the soul of, someone that's really, really an innocent South African, a mother, a wife, and someone that was just voicing out their democratic right to voice out, and to speak against the genocide that's currently ongoing in Gaza. Really, really sad, to see, and we hope that gentleman that we saw there, does get arrested, and justice is ultimately, found for that family. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be having Fired Up with Harvest Imran Chunara, for the CEO of Africa Muslims Agency and also a personal excellence mentor.